Welcome to Duo Reads. Today we're looking into some really timeless wisdom from, well, a foundational text in personal development, James Allen's As a Man Thinketh. It was published over a century ago, but honestly, it's not just a book. It feels more like a profound exploration of this undeniable link between our thoughts and, well, the actual quality of our lives. Allen, he was a British philosophical writer, a really key figure in that early self-help movement. And his insights, they feel just as sharp today, all about changing your life through sort of principled, mindful living.
Exactly. And our goal here really is to pull out the most impactful bits of knowledge from this hugely influential text. We're not just going to summarize it. We want to explore how Allen argued that the purity of our minds directly shapes everything, our actions, our relationships, and how it can foster a deeper sense of understanding. It really drills down into self-discovery, personal responsibility. It's not just what we think, but why it matters so much and, the wider impact on our whole journey.
Okay, let's dig right in then. Chapter 1, Thought and Character. Allen starts with perhaps his most famous line. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. When you first read that, did it feel empowering? Or maybe a bit like, wow, that's a lot of responsibility?
That's a really good question. For me, it was kind of a mix of both, actually. Empowering, definitely, because it puts the control right back on us, It suggests our character, who we are deep down, is basically the sum of our thoughts. But yeah, it's also challenging. It means we're kind of responsible for, everything that happens as a result. Allen really pushes us to see that we're the architects, but sometimes maybe also the demolition crew of our own destiny, all through our thoughts. He argues we have this raw power to shape our thoughts and then, by extension, our character, our environment, to become masters of our fate.
It's like having a master key, isn't it, almost? He says every action, whether it's spontaneous or something we really plan, it springs from these thought seeds. And the results, good or bad, just reflect the quality of those seeds. And here's where it gets really practical. To find the truth about yourself, Allen says you have to do some deep self-analysis. Not just a quick look, but like digging for treasure. He puts it so well. Only by much searching and mining are gold and diamonds obtained, and man can find every truth connected with his being if he will dig deep into the mine of his soul.
Yeah, and what's powerful there is the emphasis on effort. It's not passive. It's active digging in your inner world. But, while Allen really centers on thoughts shaping reality, it's worth mentioning a more nuanced view. Some readings of this source itself suggest external factors like, say, socioeconomic status or your environment. They also play a big part in life outcomes. It's something to think about, right, for you listening. How do you see that balance between inner thoughts and those external pressures shaping who we become?
Right, that connection between inner and outer worlds. It gets even clearer in Chapter 2, looking at the effect of thought on circumstances. He uses that really sticky metaphor. Man's mind may be likened to a garden. You can cultivate it, tend it, or just let it run wild. Either way, it produces something.
Yeah.
So to get a fruitful life, he says, you've got to actively weed out the negative thoughts, the unhelpful ones, to make space for the good stuff.
And this is where it gets super practical. He's saying thoughts and character are tied together, and our circumstances, they just mirror our inner beliefs. The real growth happens when we stop thinking circumstances are just random luck and realize they're actually shaped by our thoughts, our core outlook.
It's so easy to do, though, isn't it? Pointing fingers outwards. We all do it. If only this, or if only that. But Allen just turns that mirror right back. He says the power to change things isn't out there. It's inside, in our ability to improve ourselves. He gives this example, something like, imagine walking through life burdened by self-doubt. Every setback proves you're incapable, and soon your life reflects that dreary state. But then, think about the change when you consciously plant positive thoughts. Your mind becomes this flourishing garden, leading to brighter circumstances. It shows how inner talk shapes the trajectory.
Which leads right into what some people call the law of attraction, though Allen sees it more as a natural consequence. He basically says people attract situations matching their inner state. For him, good thoughts and actions can never produce bad results. Bad thoughts and actions can never produce good results. Simple as that. It's almost a moral law. So tough situations aren't random punishments. They're signs of underlying thoughts or actions. Cultivating virtues, tending those positive thought seeds, that's the path to happiness and prosperity, in his view.
Okay, shifting focus a bit. Chapter 3 gets into the effect of thought on health and the body. This really emphasizes that mind-body link. Allen sees the body as like a servant to the mind, very obedient. He suggests negative, impure thoughts don't just sour your mood, they can actually lead to physical illness. while positive, clean thoughts actively boost health and vitality.
Yeah, what's striking is how direct he makes that link. Internal state to physical state. He says, health and disease, like circumstances, are rooted in thought. Plain and simple. He goes on about how fear and anxiety aren't just mental states. They can literally wear down the body. But pure thoughts, they promote vitality, a healthier body. So the metaphor here is really strong. Thought is the fount of action, life, and manifestation. Make the fountain pure, and all will be pure. Basically, your daily mental diet feeds your body's strength or weakness.
And he takes it even further, suggesting, just changing your diet or exercise won't cut it, not without changing your thoughts, too. For him, clean thoughts naturally lead to clean habits anyway. It underlines that idea. If you would protect your body, guard your mind. Mental hygiene equals physical well-being.
And it even touches on aging. Alan suggests our mental state influences how we age physically. Wrinkles, expressions can reflect long-held emotions. He contrasts someone aging peacefully, serenely, having lived a, quote, pure and righteous life, with someone showing bitterness or discontent on their face. Makes you wonder, doesn't it, for you listening? What patterns have you maybe noticed between someone's general attitude and their overall well-being or even appearance as they get older?
So if thoughts are that powerful, how do we steer them? Which brings us neatly to Chapter 4, Thought and Purpose. Alan flat out says, with no thought linked with purpose, there is no intelligent accomplishment. That's a real challenge because, let's face it, lots of us let our thoughts just drift, and he argues that this lack of focus leads straight to failure, unhappiness.
He's really quite firm on this, the absolute importance of a central purpose. Without one, he thinks you're just vulnerable to worries, fears, self-pity, all signs of weakness in his book. He insists you must find a legitimate purpose, whatever it is, and then just focus your thoughts laser-like on achieving it.
But the upside, the really nice part, is how dedicating yourself to that purpose builds incredible self-control and focus. Alan even says failures aren't just setbacks, they actually build character along the way. He notes, the strength of character gain will be the measure of his true success. And this will form a new starting point for future power and triumph. It's like the universe is testing your commitment.
And a crucial bit here is about conquering doubt and fear. He calls them disintegrating elements, things that actively undermine your efforts. Alan puts it bluntly. He who has conquered doubt and fear has conquered failure. Because for him, purpose, energy, power, they just vanish if you let those negative thoughts take hold.
Yeah, that makes a lot of practical sense. The book illustrates it well. Something like, imagine setting a clear career goal. Without that purpose, you might drift job to job, feeling unfulfilled.
Right.
But if you actively focus your thoughts on that goal, every action starts to align. You handle setbacks better, you feel more accomplished. It takes it from theory to action.
Okay, building right on that focus, let's look at Chapter 5, Thought and Achievement. Here, Alan hammers home that core principle again, maybe even stronger. All that a man achieves and all that he fails to achieve is the direct result of his own thoughts. It's a stark declaration of personal responsibility.
And what's really interesting here is how he ties achievement to sacrifice. He says, there can be no progress, no achievement without sacrifice.
Sacrifice, yeah.
And a man's worldly success will be in the measure that he sacrifices his confused animal thoughts. He's suggesting real success and freedom come from overcoming weaknesses, letting go of selfish, base desires, rising above instincts.
And he goes on to say the universe seems designed to support virtue, intellectual, spiritual success. They come from diligent thought aimed at knowledge, noble goals, not from greed or cutting corners, even if it looks like that works sometimes in the short term. True, lasting achievement, for Alan, needs that pure thought foundation.
And now hearing this, some might push back thinking, wait, is it really all just thoughts? And it's fair to bring in that critical viewpoint from the source material interpretations. While Alan heavily stresses individual thought as the key, this view might perhaps downplay real-world complexities.
Sure.
Things like socioeconomic backgrounds, systemic barriers, environmental factors. They obviously impact opportunities and outcomes. It challenges the idea that just thinking positively can overcome absolutely every hurdle.
Absolutely. It's important to consider a more, let's say, holistic view. One that values the immense power of mindset and acknowledges the reality of external systems. That said, a key takeaway from Alan that ties it together is still powerful. Achievement is proportional to the sacrifice made. To achieve greatly requires significant sacrifice. So it's not just positive thinking. It's the discipline, the commitment, the shedding of those lower thoughts needed to sustain the higher ones.
Okay, from the practicalities of achievement, Chapter 6 lifts us up to visions and ideals. Alan talks beautifully about the dreamers as the saviors of the world, arguing they provide the visions that keep humanity going through tough times. He sees artists, poets, thinkers as the real builders of a better world. Their ideals, he says, need cherishing.
It really speaks to the huge transformative power of having a vision. Alan states it quite boldly. He who cherishes a beautiful vision, a lofty ideal in his heart, will one day realize it. He points to figures like Columbus, whose vision led to discovery, or Buddha, whose ideals reshaped cultures. He believes holding on to personal visions eventually creates better conditions in your own life, too.
It's almost presented as a natural law for him. To desire is to obtain. To aspire leads to achievement. He really pushes the importance of nurturing pure aspirations, seeing them as literal seeds for what's to come. He tells us, dream lofty dreams, and as you dream, so shall you become.
Powerful stuff.
Your vision is the promise of what you shall one day be. Your ideal is the prophecy of what you shall at last unveil. It's a clear call to aim high, dream big, and align your inner world accordingly.
And what's really encouraging is his belief that even really difficult circumstances can be overcome. If you hold on to an inspiring ideal and work towards it relentlessly, your mindset, he suggests, can literally guide you out of negative situations as your actions align with that growing vision. It's like an inner compass leading the way.
All right, finally, let's touch on Chapter 7, Serenity. Alan calls calmness one of the beautiful jewels of wisdom. Crucially, he argues it's not just something you're born with. It's a result of long, patient effort and self-control, a mature, earned peace.
Exactly. It's cultivated. He explains that a truly calm person learns to adapt smoothly to others, to life's ups and downs. They become this source of spiritual strength that people naturally look up to. He states, the more tranquil a man becomes, the greater is his success, his influence, his power for good. This calm isn't just for personal benefit, it radiates outwards positively.
And he contrasts this with people who, as he sees it, constantly undermine their own happiness, ruining potentially good moments with uncontrolled reactions. He sort of laments how rare true serenity seems to be, a reminder of what we miss out on when our inner world is just chaotic noise.
Which brings us to his powerful conclusion on this. Self-control represents strength, mastery lies in right thought, and calmness embodies true power. Alan really wants us to grasp that the potential for deep peace and lasting joy is there for everyone, regardless of what's happening outside. It comes from taking charge of our thoughts, waking up that inner strength to stay calm. It's like tapping into a deep well of resilience.
That's a really potent thought to end with, isn't it? For you listening right now, maybe reflect on this. How much of the daily stress or chaos you feel might just be echoing inner turmoil, and what amazing possibilities could open up for you with a deeper sense of that inner calm, that serenity?
That's definitely something to chew on.
Yeah.
This whole exploration of as a man thinketh, it really hammers home that idea of internal mastery. It's a journey, right? Self-discovery. And it's not about pretending external problems don't exist, but about harnessing our inner power to navigate them, maybe even reshape them.
Absolutely. So, the final thought to leave you with, if our thoughts really are the architects of our reality, what one thought will you choose to consciously cultivate today, right now, to start building the life you truly envision? Thanks so much for joining us for this discussion.